Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining today's webinar, Building Security and Efficiency with JumpCloud. My name is Dakota Hipburn. I'm an MSP Marketing Manager here at JumpCloud, and I'm happy to be moderating today's webinar. Today I'm joined by my colleagues, Antoine Jabara, GM of MSP Product, and Max Wicker, Partner Account Executive. We'll give them time to intro in a second, but before we get started, a few housekeeping items. So please feel free to add any questions or comments in the questions panel at any time throughout the presentation. We have time at the end of the session for Q&A, but putting them in now, make sure we'll get to them and you have your thoughts down early. If there's any questions that we can't get to live, we'll be sure to follow up with you after the presentation and get those answered for you. And if we need to pull in extra resources, we'll have time to do that after the session. So now, without further ado, I'm going to pass it over to Antoine to begin today's session. So take it away, Antoine.
Thank you, Dakota. Hi, everyone. I'm very excited to walk you through what we have for MSPs and answer any questions that you have. And without further ado, I'll just start. So over the past 15 years, the world has moved from an on-prem world to the cloud. And with this move, people now expect to be able to work from anywhere on any device with multiple vendors in an open way. And that's made it difficult for old tooling to kind of enable these use cases, because a lot of the tooling that we currently rely on tends to be device-centric. It relies on closed directory concepts. It's very vendor-centric, with Microsoft being at the center of that. It relies on closed protocols and plays in a non-scalable way with on-prem setups. So these limitations of existing tooling have made it increasingly more challenging to offer secure and frictionless access to applications and devices from anywhere at any time. With that said, there is a solution, a modern solution to this problem, and this modern way happens through something called the Open Directory concept, or an Open Directory Platform concept. This is a cloud-native directory, vendor-agnostic, identity-centric, that plays nicely with multiple vendors and is designed to work with what you already have in place and scale regardless of the medium, channel, and application type. JumpCloud, in a nutshell, is an embodiment of this Open Directory concept. So JumpCloud is a single pane of glass that allows you to manage the identity, access, and the device management capabilities required to provide your customers with seamless and frictionless access to resources with any device at any time, from any device at any time. And we do this by deeply integrating with on-prem and cloud-based directories, which we can complement or replace, by deeply integrating with applications, deeply integrating with different types of devices so they can be effectively managed, and by deeply integrating with tools that you use to run your business, notably PSA tools for billing and soon ticketing, and eventually RMMs and HRIS solution. So JumpCloud, in a nutshell, sits at the center of your stack, connects to the existing things in place, and allows you to provide your customers with seamless and secure access by centralizing identity, access, and device managing capabilities under one roof without forcing you to replace anything that you already have in place. So if we were to look at JumpCloud on a page and the capabilities, the native capabilities that JumpCloud offers, you're going to see capabilities like single sign-on and push MFA that are very identity-centric, enable for the seamless and secure management of identity and access. You're also going to see device management capabilities and conditional access capabilities, which are going to help you effectively manage everything from the initial point of contact to the point where users are able to access any type of resource from anywhere on any device without having to worry about the medium, the channel, multiple vendors, multiple experiences. Everything is seamless and centralized. And the cool thing about JumpCloud, as I mentioned before, is that you have deployed some of these capabilities already within your customer setup. The Open Directory Platform concept that JumpCloud embodies plays nicely with these systems in place. So you don't have to tear and replace any of these components to use JumpCloud. You can actually complement your existing setup with JumpCloud and expand the amount of capabilities that you offer in a scalable way to your customers. But let's take a step back. We've talked a bit about the features that JumpCloud offers and the Open Directory Platform concept and what this brings you by centralizing identity, access, and device under one roof. But what we're really talking about here is offering secure and frictionless access to users. This is only going to happen once we The users have a passwordless way of accessing any type of application, device, appliance, resources without having to worry about which vendor is doing it in the background, which interface they need to be using. It really needs to be seamless. And this journey, which starts from dealing with passwords to access specific types of resource and then goes into using a passwordless way to authenticating, which is single sign-on, that is then expanded by conditional access capabilities that enable a zero trust mentality within your business, which eventually leads to passwordless, is a journey that we want to be on together. And this is what JumpCloud is all about at the end of the day: centralizing identity, access, and device management capabilities under one roof in a vendor agnostic way. Now, we've talked about the benefit that the platform brings and what you're going to get based on the different capabilities that you have in place and the bundling that we have in order to make that happen. But like, what's in it for you? What do you get out of it, and what do your customers get out of it? So for you, you get more revenues, of course, by being able to service a wider range of customers who need different types of technologies. You're not bound to using a specific type of vendor or not being able to onboard a specific customer because of their specific setup, because JumpCloud tries to play nicely with different types of solutions that are out there on the market that do identity, access, and device, and complements these solutions to expand on the existing portfolio and standardize on that. You get lower costs because of economies of scale. You're abstracting the different technologies through standard-based protocols. There's deep integrations and workflows capabilities built in, and we have a lot of native capabilities in-house that we provide as a bundle. So economies of scale is something that you can benefit from by centralizing on JumpCloud. Your customers get a better experience, obviously, because it's one interface, one user experience that they have to learn and follow, so to be able to access any type of resource anywhere at any time. There's better security by standardizing, centralizing, keeping everything unified. And JumpCloud makes you more agile and scalable. Agile in the sense that you can now support multiple vendors in a consolidated way under one roof, and scalable in the sense that you can take your stack as it is today, look at what JumpCloud has to offer, and almost immediately expand your stack capabilities with what JumpCloud offers natively and what JumpCloud offers through integrations with third parties. So this is what you get. Your customers, on the other hand, become more productive, and that's what it's all about at the end of the day. JumpCloud eliminates bottlenecks related to technology. There's no restrictions and full agency around being able to choose any type of vendor. So if a customer wants to use a specific productivity tool, wants to use a specific password manager, wants to use a specific appliance to do something, then JumpCloud will try to integrate nicely with all of that and centralize identity, access, and device management under one roof, keeping it easy to manage and secure at the same time. There's better security because users become less prone to phishing and different types of attacks when they only know one experience and they're not relying on multiple different vendors that have different motions for sending them alert emails, showing them push notifications, contacting them about different things, and so on and so forth. And all of that they get to them internally at no added cost attached to the benefits above. So it's just standardization for them, everything under one umbrella, everything consolidated, tight and secure, whether it's unified in the backend and all JumpCloud provided, or really vendor agnostic and you have multiple vendors in the backend working towards providing the service and they get it out of the box. Now, we've road tested this, and we currently have over 1,800 partners that are using JumpCloud, and we're deployed to over 180,000 organizations worldwide. We're a team of over 800 people that are working day and night to be able to provide seamless and secure access to our partners and their customers, and we've raised hundreds of millions of dollars at a $2.5 billion plus valuation. So we're growing extremely quickly. The open directory platform movement is gaining a lot of traction. It seems like this really is the way to go. A cloud native, identity centric, vendor agnostic way of centralizing identity, access, and device management capabilities under one roof. Now, I've talked a lot about what JumpCloud brings you, the values, the open directory concept, the benefits to you and your customers, but let's show you what we're talking about. I'm going to turn it over to Max, who's going to show you a demo of the platform.
All right, thank you so much, Antoine. So just a little bit of an introduction for myself. My name is Max. I'm a partner manager over here at JumpCloud. A little bit about me: I've spent roughly about the last decade or so working with security vendors, particularly in the MSP space, and helping partners get enabled, understand products, and ultimately partner with them to grow their business. So everybody can, you can see my screen, correct, guys? All right, cool. So wanted to give you just a high-level overview of JumpCloud and our multi-tenant portal, as well as our admin console. This will be very, very high level, and we're only touching the surface with what we can do with JumpCloud. But at the end of the conversation, we do have a poll, and if you guys are interested in learning more, we'd certainly be happy to set up kind of a demo and a deep dive and personalize that to your organization. All right, so what I have up today right now is the multi-tenant dashboard. And this is just a dashboard that manages all of your clients in one roof. So you see here a few things, right? The organization name, logo, the current users, devices, and applications. When I click into a site, I can easily see current users, high watermark of the users that were uploaded in the last month, and some other preliminary information like administrators that are associated to that site. Jumping over to the administrators tab, we can, with JumpCloud, scope administrators either globally or from a site-only perspective, as well as attribute different types of roles for administrators for each client site as well. On the account, a quick and easy view of your payment history with JumpCloud, as well as easy way to update your billing information with us as well. And then, as Antoine alluded to, a big part of what we do is fitting into your stack and being an open directory platform. And a big part of that is obviously, fitting into your ticketing systems as well as your remote monitoring systems, and being able to, produce things like tickets from JumpCloud when, let's just say, a user is locked out of their machine for some reason. In the future and by the end of the year, we're hoping to release more PSA and RMM integrations. And right now we have Datto and ConnectWise in the console today. So that's a high-level overview of the multi-tenant portal. Without further ado, we'll launch into a site and show you exactly what the Open Directory platform looks like. So we start with the identity piece, and as an IT administrator, you probably ask yourself, how I'm going to create an identity within JumpCloud for my user. We have a few different ways to do this. Most commonly used is an import and an API connection to Google Workspace and Microsoft 365. We also have the ability to import users from existing HR directories such as Bamboo, namely Personio and Workday. And then again, if you're using a different single sign-on solution such as Okta, we have a real-time import from Okta as well that you can use to create that user identity into JumpCloud. From there, an IT admin might ask themselves, like, how do I provision different types of applications? How do I, connect users and get them authenticating into VPN and Wi-Fi, for example, or with LDAP? NAS devices, SMB file servers, etc. So we'll start down here in user authentication under single sign-on, and we'll show you here that we have over 775 pre-built SAML connectors for single sign-on for you. Things like ADP, Slack, Salesforce, etc. And then whatever we don't have built, pre-built for you in the console, as long as the service provider supports the SAML protocol, we're able to do custom SAML applications as well as URL bookmarks for single sign-on as well. On the Radius end, JumpCloud does 100% of the hosting, and we can even enforce MFA on Radius, let's just say if a user is logging into VPN or Wi-Fi. On the LDAP side, again, we use the LDAP protocol to provision users to resources such as SMB servers and file servers and all kinds of things like that. And then to round that out, the device management piece, there's a few different things that you guys will probably want to pay attention to. First, we'll start here at the MDM. So we are a certified Apple Business Manager MDM, and we can go as far as even doing volume purchase program with Apple, drop shipping machines straight from Apple Business Manager, pre-configured with policies, applications, and the JumpCloud agent on day one when you ship that machine to an employee. The other thing to pay attention to is our policy management. So we have a ton of pre-built policies like BitLocker full disk encryption. If you want to disable USB storage, for example, all the types of policies that you would need to push down to a machine to stage that machine, battle harden it on the network. And then additionally to that, we did recently add OS patch management for Mac, Windows, and Linux cross-functionally within the console as well. Whatever we don't have pre-built in the console, you can also push customized commands between Mac, Windows, and Linux. And then on the last piece here is the software management piece, where we can actually use chocolatey.org to push out package IDs. And with this, you're able to install the software, keep the software up to date, and uninstall the software however you please. The last couple of things I wanted to cover. So user groups are very, very important to get that kind of one-to-many approach with JumpCloud. So once you figure out, who the user is, what department they're in, what authentication you need to provide, and what policies you want to push down in the machine, it's very, very easy to just create a user group that actually provisions resources accordingly. So you take a user, let's just say it's a user from the engineering department. That user then gets access to applications that are relevant to them, Radius servers that make sense for them to authenticate to, and then tie into our API connections, let's say to Google Workspace or Office 365. Another note here, while we're on integrations, we do have custom API connections into both Google Workspace and Office 365, which allows you to easily and quickly import users either by selecting all, or actually just importing select users in order to get them into the JumpCloud console and start to provision resources to them. Lastly here, a few things on the security management. So Antoine had alluded to our abilities to provide zero trust and conditional access based on what you need here in the JumpCloud console. So a conditional access policy would be something like Max Wicker needs to log into this MacBook Pro from these set of IPs. If those conditions are not met, then deny access. And as you can tell with creating a conditional access or a zero trust model, it's just a really good way to make sure that trusted users are logging into trusted devices from trusted locations. Lastly, on the MFA side, again, going with the open directory approach, we allow you to use any types of MFAs that support TOTP or push notifications. We even can go as far as allowing WebAuthn or security key access. And then if you're using an existing solution such as Duo today for single sign-on, or excuse me, for MFA, you can continue to use that with the JumpCloud console as well. More importantly, though, we do have our own push notification and TOTP application called JumpCloud Protect. That MFA application can be used on the user portal level, as well as the single sign-on level, device level, and on Radius servers as well. So, this was a really, really high level overview of what we can do with the JumpCloud console. But as you can see, this is just a way for you guys to centrally manage your identity and access management in a secure and frictionless way moving forward with your clients. And without further ado, I think I will hand it back to Antoine to share a few slides to round it out.
Thanks, Max. That was great. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect. So as Max showed you, we centralize identity, access, and device management capabilities under one roof. We do offer a lot of the capabilities in-house, but we play it nicely with other vendors like Duo, Azure AD, and so on and so forth. Now, we've talked about what we currently have in the present, and we've shown you what we have in the present, but let's talk for a second about vision and where we're trying to get. We think that the future of being able to manage identity, access, and device management under one roof relies on the existence of a unified MSP and management platform. That means basically taking all of the different directories of devices, users, assets, applications, and so on and so forth, and putting them under one open directory platform that provides, through a multi-tenant single pane of glass, features that are going to allow you to manage identity, access, and device management to your customers, and that are also going to allow you to deploy value-added solutions to your customers, such as password management, such as endpoint protection, such as next-gen AV and stuff like that. And this needs to be deeply integrated with your existing stack, so you don't have to tear and replace anything on day one, and so that you can start using JumpCloud to extend your stack, and over time grow your JumpCloud footprint to start hopefully relying more on JumpCloud to centralizing a lot of the different operations. Now, we understand that partnering with you is not just about pushing great product to you, it's also about being able to be with you on a journey that starts from the day that you discovered JumpCloud to the day that you've deployed JumpCloud to the last of your customer. And in order to get that, we have a partner program in place that really provides you with the support required to feel like you have a partner in us, that you're able to go to market with us, that you understand the technical intricacies and the opportunities provided by JumpCloud. And we do that by having implementation success programs, a sales support program, a marketing support program with collateral and things like that. We provide you with support and training. And most importantly, we have a dedicated MSP pricing package that's unique to partners and really makes it easy for our partners to get started. I don't want to talk too much about pricing. If you're interested to learn more, we're going to put a button somewhere that's going to allow you to show interest in that. But in a nutshell, if you were to go in the market and get the different capabilities that JumpCloud has to offer across the board, you're looking at $35 to $55 per user per month. If you go to the direct side of JumpCloud and try to get what JumpCloud has to offer in one package, it's upwards of $24 per user per month. For our partners, we've introduced a new package now that we're just trialing in June. So if you're interested in that, it would be a good idea to reach out to us. That discounts this up to 75% depending on volume of licenses that you want to deploy. So we really want to make it easy for you to just take the decision to say, okay, I want to extend my current stack or do this specific thing or replace this specific component using JumpCloud so that I can start looking at identity access and device management under one roof. So again, if you're interested in learning more, Dakota is going to put an interface in front of your screen that's going to allow you to show us if you're interested in a specific thing. If you are, just select one or more, I believe, of the checkboxes and click on submit, and we'll make sure to reach out to you on the side and show you more of the platform. You can obviously try it for free, learn more about the partner program, or get a deeper understanding on how we're thinking about pricing and packaging for our partners today and over time as we grow. With that, thank you very much for attending the webinar and hearing Max and I talk about JumpCloud and the Open Directory platform concept. These are things we're extremely passionate about. And we'd like to leave the floor to you to ask questions so that we can answer as many of them as possible in the remaining time that we have.
Awesome. So it looks like people are still filling out the poll, so I'm going to leave it up for a couple more minutes here. But in the meantime, Antoine or Max, do you want to dive in a little bit more on some more integrations? So we have questions on like PSA and billing integrations. Do we have any idea of what's next and what they can expect there?
Yes, so as mentioned, we already integrate a lot with identity, device, and access management solutions, as you've seen. On the MSP side specifically, we're investing a lot in integrations with PSAs and then RMMs, documentation platforms, remote assist solutions. This is what we want to do. So we started with billing, which is basically taking the number of users that you have deployed through JumpCloud and updating the agreement of your customers in your PSA system or billing system. We have integrations there with ConnectWise, Manage, and Autotask PSA, and are adding more vendors hopefully in the back half of this year. We're also currently planning to introduce, and this is between us, ticketing integrations with PSA systems as well. So when an alert is thrown in JumpCloud, automatically create the alert in your PSA system so you can action it from there and you keep your tickets centralized in one location. The next step after that is essentially going to be importing companies, admin users, end users, and keeping all of these in sync. And the plan is to just consolidate the Open Directory concept where you have all of the different directories that you have in place across different services under the JumpCloud umbrella. You manage them from within JumpCloud and they permeate to other types of solutions that you're using. If you have any ideas for specific integrations that I did not mention here, a specific workflow use case that you think is interesting, etc., please let me know. I'm personally interested. So Dakota, can we put my email address somewhere in the chat? So my email is antoine.jabara@jumpcloud.com. Email me if you have any questions, if you want to dive deeper into a specific area of the product, if you want to know more what's coming in the future and so on and so forth, and I'm happy to walk you through it and see how JumpCloud could potentially be a good partner to you.
Awesome. I will add that in the chat in just a second. So while I do, we have another question. So thinking about SSO, is there a way to fast track apps into JumpCloud? Like connect JumpCloud with a currently unsupported app developer versus making a custom SSO integration?
For SSO, we merely just rely on the service provider's ability to support SAML 2.0. So, you know, from that perspective, you know, I hope I'm understanding it correctly, but, you know, we just rely on that ability, right? If the service provider builds that into their product, then we can support it. As far as like adding new SSO applications into JumpCloud, like pre-built connectors, we can certainly, you know, if you had any suggestions on what you wanted to add, for example, certainly can, you know, expedite that to the product team and add those accordingly.
And to add on what Max is saying, for systems or services that don't currently support single sign-on natively or pay wallet, we have a very cool feature which we can't talk about at the moment, a module that we're going to introduce towards the half of the year that's going to allow you to manage access to these types of applications. So to just tell the story from a password-based world, and that's a hint, to a single sign-on based world, which is SAML-based or OIDC-based, eventually to a passwordless world.
Awesome. And we still have time for questions. So if people have some more questions, please keep them coming. We do have some trickling in, but want to make sure everyone has their questions answered. So we do have some questions that are pretty specific, which we'll get to, you know, individually, some individual use cases. But we do have a question. Is the ticketing system integration only for MSP partners, and is Zendesk on the list of these integrations? Thanks.
So the ticketing integration initially is going to be for MSP, for our MSP partners, and it's one of the features that we think our partners can benefit from the most very quickly. Having said that, the next step would be to introduce it on the direct side as well. Zendesk is definitely on the list of ticketing systems we plan to integrate with, and yeah, it's in the roadmap.
Yeah, so it looks like we're at a little stop in the questions, but if you have any questions, please hop on. We do have a poll, or sorry, a survey at the end. Please take that, but if you know you think of something as soon as we hang up, please put them in there, and that way we can follow up appropriately with you on that. Like I said, we have the time, so while everyone's on here, let us know any questions that we can help answer live. Like I said, there are some specifics that might be better if we take offline. So if you do have specific questions, when we follow up with you, please be sure to ask then, and we can get the appropriate resources on with you on there.
Okay, Dakota, are you seeing more questions?
Looks like we're at a stop, so I'll give it another minute or two in case anyone has any last minute or someone's trying to finish typing real quickly. We'll give it another minute.
Do you want to try to put the poll back up for a second, see if someone is interested in?
Yeah, and then, so if you do opt into the poll at any point, a dedicated partner manager such as myself will be reaching out to learn more about your business, to see if we can partner together. And if you have specific technical questions, obviously happy to loop in resources accordingly. So definitely, you know, if you want to learn more and are interested in more information, opt into the poll and we'll be reaching out.
Yeah. And from a product perspective, if you have any questions, you have my email address now. Happy to answer any questions that you might want.
Awesome. Yeah, so I just want to thank everyone for their time today. Like I said, there's going to be a quick survey at the end. let us know how we can help you. If there's any questions, like I said, that you missed or we didn't get to, put them in there and we will follow up right away. But I want to thank Antoine and Max for their time, giving us good insights into JumpCloud for MSPs. And thank you all for taking your time today. It's been a good half hour or so on here, so I really appreciate you taking the time to learn a bit about us, and then hopefully we can learn a bit more about you in the future. So thank you again, and with that, hope you have a great rest of your Thursday.
Thanks, everybody.
Everybody.
Thank you.
Please subscribe and check out more content from us.